Anyway.
See the building on the hill, where all those cables lead to. That's the town.
Industria is one of those games that just warms my heart. With a captivating story taking place in a beautiful yet eerie world, it's one of those games that just make you melt in your chair and absorb everything the game has to offer. From the dark, claustrophobic interiors to the vibrant, decayed ruins of the city that once belonged to humans, there was not one part of this game where I didn't feel immersed and invested in the story. Industria is a charming, passionate, and immersive narrative that really involves the player with its gameplay, atmosphere, and its storytelling. Although it's not entirely perfect, Industria is still one of my favourite games in the past few years, and I'd like to tell you why.
Vent radioactive gas, NO. Venting prevents explosion. Ooh, this is hard. Where's my tab?
The story of Industria is one of love, mystery, and loneliness. It's set in an alternate reality of East Berlin where the AI program Atlas, you helped build, has taken over. You play as Nora as you traverse the world, uncovering the mysteries of what happened to this timeline, whilst looking for your lover, Walter, who is more involved in what's going on than you realise. At face value, the story doesn't exactly sound unique or inspired, but if you pay attention to certain dialogue cues, the way the world is built around you in the sense that it almost insinuates that you're always being watched. There are notes littered across the world that piece together questions you might have to help evolve the lore, and it adds more of a sense of character depth and narrative complexity to a story that seems very one-dimensional at first. Despite being in contact with an old man via the radio you find near the beginning of the game, Industria does a great job of making you feel lonely and isolated. The world is eerily beautiful, it's hauntingly silent of any human life, only the distant grumblings of drones and metal can be heard, constantly reminding the player of the world that they're in. Although the game is very short, consisting of only like 4 levels, each area is full of character, and the way the sound design and lighting work together in some of these areas is truly beautiful, to the point where I'd find myself almost getting killed because I was distracted by the scenery. World building is such an important feature when it comes to storytelling. If your world doesn't correspond or integrate with your narrative, then ultimately you're going to make the player feel disconnected from the game. Industria is very linear, but it does a very good job of making you feel immersed in its world. But there still are a couple things I would like to see improved upon, and these aren't like really criticisms of the game, it's probably just me being a little bit nitpicky. But near the beginning of the game, you'll come across your first health vial. These are little red vials that you drink to heal. But there isn't any explanation of that to Nora. She kind of just drinks it and she knows it won't harm her. I mean, like, you know, I wouldn't be butt chugging any old liquid I find in any alternate reality, but I guess that's just me. So I think it would have gone a long way if there was a small dialogue exchange between you and the old man on the radio. Like maybe Nora asks him, hey, like, what's up with these red vials I'm seeing everywhere? Are they safe? What are they used for? And maybe it turns out that these vials were developed by Walter as a means to treat the injured. I don't know. And I would personally like to see more character in the world.
What the hell are you talking about?
And what I mean by that is I love it when video games give personality to certain things. So like for example, Skyrim does a brilliant job of that by simply positioning some skeletons in certain positions or environments that tell the player how they died. BioShock is another example of a masterclass in world building. Little things like that add a lot of character to the world, and I would have loved to have stumbled across a skeleton of a dude like sitting on a couch drinking his last beer, or 2 lovers lying on a bed holding hands as they kill themselves together or something. Again, they're just little nitpicks, not really criticisms, But let's talk about the fun stuff, the gameplay.
Anyway.
The mechanics and gameplay of Industria are very simple, but it works perfectly with the environment you're in. You walk at the perfect speed, which sounds odd as I say it out loud, but it doesn't seem floaty or unrealistic. Swinging the pickaxe feels weighty, firing the weapons feels punchy and satisfying, and all of the animations are just absolutely beautiful. You have 5 weapons at your disposal: a pickaxe, a pistol, SMG, sniper, and a shotgun, with each of them being very effective in their own respective situations. The sniper is perfect for taking out the sentry robots, the shotgun fucking obliterates whatever's in front of you, the SMG is great for sustained damage and staggering, and the pistol is, well, the pistol. The very limited ammo capacity of each of the weapons adds to the gameplay as well, because you're not overpowered. You haven't got infinity ammo to burn through every enemy in a second. It makes you think about what to use in a given situation. So, like, for example, the pickaxe is something you're going to use all throughout the game because it's good at taking out these easier enemies without needing to use ammo. So you can save it for more difficult enemies because it's very easy to run out of ammo and get yourself into trouble. This scarcity of ammo adds to the tension and the atmosphere of the game because you'll need to think to yourself, like, should I use a certain weapon here because it will make it a bit easier, but maybe if I do that, the next area is going to be more difficult because I've just burnt through all my ammo. So I guess I could take it a bit slower, prioritize targets first, and do it in more of a stealthy way. There is a little bit of freedom when it comes to combat, which is what I like. Industria isn't trying to be the next Doom or Bioshock where you can wield a million weapons and abilities and be a superhero. The combat is punchy and realistic in a sense that I actually think it might benefit from being slowed down a little bit because the game really isn't hectic at all. Make changing weapons slower, aiming down the sights of the sniper slower, and shit man, honestly I think it could benefit from a stamina bar so you can't sprint or swing your pickaxe infinitely. But again, they aren't really criticisms, more so just things I would prefer. It's very hard for me personally to pick on a game that is made by a very, very small team of like 5 people in their spare time. Another thing that adds to this game's charm are the developers. From the very beginning, they've been completely transparent with the community about what we can expect from them in terms of content and the quality of that content, which is something I admire in this industry. I think a major form of marketing, in a way, or rather a major selling point for a game, is transparency, honesty, and most importantly, integrity. And that's exactly what you get here. Throughout the development cycle, the devs weren't hyping this game up to make it out to be at AAA standard or have AAA features. They knew what their vision was and they communicated that clearly to us, and it shows. It's very evident after playing this game that it was a passion project for them, not a chase for fame or wealth or to capitalize on a certain trend within the industry at the time. And for that reason, again, for me anyway, it makes the game more enjoyable when you know it was created by a small group of people that sunk their heart and soul into it. It makes me pay more attention to the writing, to every nook and cranny, to every flaw and design choice. The devs have added more character to this game by just simply being themselves, I guess.
Here's a photo of 2 happy people.
That's it. That's what I want you to take. Can you describe what's in the photo for me?
It looks like winter. There's a flea market in the background. The woman is laughing. And the man beside her looks like the happiest person on earth.
Before we get to the final part of the video, I want to talk about the music for a moment. We all know how important music is in video games, even more so in a single player narrative, and Industria's soundtrack is just absolutely beautiful. It adds to the mood so well that you hardly notice it's even there sometimes. It's not overpowering or distracting so that it doesn't take away from the immersion. It enhances the atmosphere and communicates to the player what Nora is feeling in a certain moment. From eerie drones as you make your way through the dark interiors, or harmonic melodies as you enter a new area, the music is it's simply just breathtaking, and the composer did a fantastic job, and I'm honestly disappointed in myself for not being able to articulate my thoughts properly to really explain how impactful this music is. So to summarize my thoughts on Industria, I would highly recommend this game to people that are after a short, single-player game that they can come back to every few months or so to experience again. Don't go into this game thinking it has AAA polish. It has its janky moments. But if you can look past that, I can guarantee that you will fall in love with this game just like I did. The story is captivating and left an ending open for a sequel. The combat is fun, which is only heightened by the beautiful atmosphere, music, and its world building. If I had to give this game a rating, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.